Hey folks, the zero point 0.2 announcements got me pretty jazzed. Been looking at all the different Spectres, and I thought I'd put together a video of some of the early Spectres in the campaign that look like they're going to be pretty cool. So the nice thing about campaign Spectres is you don't have to go random them in a map somewhere, you can just get them from the campaign easily. And because the acts are like doubled, like you get the 1 to 3 acts twice, you can get them at like a lower level zone, which makes it really easy to get them. Even if you have a bad build, you can still like go and get them easily. So with these, I'll post some like information about the like skills that they have, but I'll also show some in-game footage about what these look like, so you guys can get an idea. All right, first one we'll go do is the Frost Wraith. I think the Frost Wraith is going to be very powerful. It's one of the ones I'm most excited for, and it's in Act 1, so you get this thing like right off the bat. Basically, as soon as you get your Spectre gem, you can go get these. What's going to make this OP? It's got energy shield from life at 35%, so I think these will be pretty tanky. And then they have a life mod of 160, and I think so they should be pretty tanky, I think. And then they have a projectile spell, but it's not a projectile damage. It does an area damage when it hits. So very similar to the way that the skeletal arsonists work. So they shoot out a projectile, but then it like does an AoE on the ground, which means that this thing can shotgun. And then it also says hits against chilled enemies have a 50% chance to be freezing. So potentially this is going to be a very good crowd control Spectre / damage Spectre. I get a lot of overlapping damage. And then it also has this spooky ghost explode where like if you walk close to it, and I'll show this in the video, I'll just like put it over the screen. Yeah, if you walk close to it, it will do this every once in a while, every 7 seconds or so. And it has an immense amount of damage, and it has hits freeze as though dealing 100% more damage. So the freeze build up on this will be like very large. So this one, pretty cool. Frost Wraiths look like they're going to be pretty sweet. All right, so let's go on to one from Act 2. Forsaken Miner. Forsaken Miner, I'm sure you've died to these at least once. They're the ones that throw the explosive charges, and then they go off and they hit for like a very large amount of damage. The cool thing about these is that they actually fire 2 projectiles at once. You can see it says fires an additional projectile, and then it basically it has like a ticking time, and then it detonates. But with the support gems, you could probably get like a reduced duration support on there to make it like happen faster. You can probably get the extra projectiles to be able to get it to like shoot more of the grenades. So it does say that it's a projectile. And then if you look closely here, this is kind of weird, but there's 2 different explodes for the grenades. So there's a physical converted to fire one, and there's a flat fire one. And it says here, Drudge explosive grenade long and Drudge explosive grenade. So my assumption here is one of these is at like closer to melee range, and then one of these is at a far range. So there's 2 different varieties of grenades that drop. And you can kind of see that in the footage a little bit, but it's hard to tell like which one is which, to be honest. But yeah, this is going to be really cool. It has a really like extremely high damage number on it, so I'm excited to try these out for sure. And again, Act 2, pretty early on. Another one from the campaign I'm excited for. This one's from Act 3 is Priest of the Sun. Now this one has the Kamehameha beam, okay? You can be Goku or have a party full of Gokus. And they're pretty tanky. They've got 200% life mod and 20% energy shield from life. These might have more spirit cost than some of the other ones, so you might not be able to get as many. But if you look, they've got this Sun Apparition laser beam, and the minion can actually move while it's firing the beam. And actually, its basic proj attack has only a 1-second cast time, and a lot of the other ones in the game are 1.5. So this actually fires like decently fast. And then it also throws out like this little mini sun thing, and that's also on a cooldown. And it doesn't have a damage number on here. I think what it does is it puts down Burning Ground. I think, and then I think Burning Ground scales with zone level, not minion level. So I think that's why it's not showing up on here. I could be wrong on that one. I'm not entirely sure. I have to like test it out. But definitely with the laser being 20-second cooldown, you'd want to get like some cooldown reduction supports on there. And yeah, depending on how fast this ticks, this could be a lot of damage. It says 29 or 2,929, 2,929, and it has a skill duration. I don't know how many times a second this ticks, but if this ticks like multiple times a second, this could be giga damage. And even if it's not like that crazy damage, just walking around with like a bunch of Kamehameha beam specters would be pretty cool, I think. And then lastly, we have the River Hag. I've seen a lot of people on Reddit talking about this one. This is the one that has the drowning orbs, but it also has a vortex that deals cold dot damage. So you wouldn't want to have like a lot of these in the build because dot damage doesn't stack. But this could be like a cool minion as well, depending on what they do with the drowning orb. Now, I doubt that the drowning orb is going to like make a monster die in 30 seconds or whatever it does. That would be too OP. But maybe it just applies this cold dot effect. Even if it just did that, I think this would be pretty cool because this is a homing orb. And then this vortex, one thing that's important to note about these kinds of stats here, like reduced area of effect, this looks bad, but actually this is a good stat because what this means is that your diminishing returns kick in later on increased area of effect, as this is additive with increased area of effect. So you could actually get the like area on this pretty large. And then this one is also a cooldown time, but it has a decently long duration. So if you put a cooldown reduction on this one, then you could get like a bunch of vortexes out at once potentially. Now that won't stack, but yeah, it would have pretty good screen coverage, I think. Well, that's pretty much all for today. In the comments below, let me know, what Spectre are you most excited for?